We got a couple new updates that we're going to talk through today. How many people are familiar with the front end of this, of the main Trailways.com website? Okay, so everybody's been here. How many people in here go to the back end of the website and see their leads? You do? You do via? Do you go back into this side?
No, and we're not even connected, so I said I was going to give it to somebody while we were here.
Okay.
Lynn had trouble getting in the system and getting connected, so we're getting manual leads. And then we're not even in the California system. So
Okay.
We need to do that.
Well, very good. And then
We do.
Yeah.
Angela's the main person in our company that does it. She's not here.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it just to make sure they're responding. But we have 5 of those. So.
Oh, that's right, you do. And you guys are active in it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the goal today was to walk through kind of the nuances here and make sure that there aren't any questions, talk about a couple of the little changes that are coming up, and then in this group, how many people are distinctive clients? So almost everybody. So when it comes to distinctive, there's a new change that's being rolled out next week. We're waiting to get through this meeting that's going to make life even easier for distinctive users. Okay, so getting way more glare on here than I thought that I would. No, that does not help.
Looks good.
Helps you. And actually, you know, I'm going to switch with you. I'm going to take the mouse. That makes my life easier. Okay, so we have Mark Kennedy's going to talk about the efforts that Trailways.com goes through to drive people to Trailways.com to this charter bus lead form. There's also the ticketing form that is on here as well. We don't deal with that side of it. That goes out to another element. I know that a lot of you do, you know, tickets as opposed to charters. We're not going to talk about that element today. Somebody comes in, they fill out this lead form. Is this the information that you guys actually need to be receiving? Is this good information when you get your leads?
Yes.
Okay, so all of that works well for you. So when that goes in, obviously it drops here into the back end. We can see all of the pendings that nobody has touched on yet. You know, the way all of this works is when a lead goes in,
Yeah, the washer.
The window washer.
I know.
Picked a bad day.
Either that or a flock of birds.
And it's all behind.
When the lead goes in today at 9:53. You have 24 hours to pick it up. You have 24 hours. You should be receiving an email notification. If you're not, today's the day to make sure that we have all the right people assigned to receive email notifications. An email should hit your inbox immediately that says there's a lead, and it should be giving the bare information on the lead, the dates, the locations, the number of people. What it doesn't show generally is the name, the email address, the phone number. All of that gets held back only because if you're not going to pick it up, then hey, we're going to move it down. As soon as you pick it up, as soon as you give it an acceptance, it drops into the accepted box, and this is the back end for all of Trailways. We can look at your individual systems as well, but it comes off the market, if you will. It comes off the market the second you do that within 24 hours. If for whatever reason you don't address it within 24 hours, then it sends an email to the next closest Trailways person in the system, whatever that next company is. Even if it's 1,000 miles away, if that's the next closest, that's where it's going to go. It shows up as on your system as an expired element. This is our back end, right? This is dev. So this is a dummy page that we set up. So if you don't pick it up, if you don't accept it, and you don't decline it, then it expires within 24 hours. And on your systems, you should be able to see that. You should be able to see how many expire and how many you actually accepted, how many got declined. Come Friday afternoons, I know that we've had some issues with Friday afternoons and the way things work over a weekend. And so the changes that have been made are come noontime on Friday. You talk through it.
So basically we take Friday after, if it comes in Friday afternoonish, it won't expire until Monday afternoonish. So we try to give that, still that 24 hours, but we basically just subtract the weekend days. So Friday when it comes in, it'll expire that time Monday instead of
24 hour
weekend.
business.
24 hour business days.
Even hour
Yeah.
business.
Exactly. So we essentially just subtract the weekend days and let you keep those, and then we start it back up Monday to finish out that 24 hours.
And if anything comes in over the weekend and it doesn't get addressed, then it holds until noontime on Monday as well. The thought there is that that's plenty enough time, and it is time change oriented. I mean, you know, noontime in California is noontime. It's not 9 a.m. your time and noontime ours. Those carry over, and you have the morning to address them. If by noontime you don't get to them, then that's when they expire and move on to the second company.
Is there a reason for not making that 5 p.m.? We're not in the office at all, so we're getting in there at 8 or 9, and that gives you 2 or 3 hours. to all that.
The thought process there was if somebody put in a request after, from anywhere from noon and on Friday through the entire weekend, it could be as early as 12:01 on Friday, and if it didn't get addressed, then they would be sitting for that entire amount of time waiting. Although you're right, it is a truncated amount of time on a Monday morning for Trailways to address it. The other side of that is, you know, in the customer's mind, they could be waiting 3 days. Yes, it's a weekend, but I think we all know how customers can be, in your mind it's, hey, it's only been an hour and a half. In their mind, no, it's been 72 hours and I haven't heard anything. And so it's adjustable. We can definitely adjust it if that's what we really want to do. But we went with that formula to really address the concerns of the customer.
And I think the other thing is to respond just to the customer, to say, Denise, received your quote, we're working on it, it's Monday, I'll try to get it back to you as soon as possible. You can just communicate with the customer, let them know you received it.
But you did say that in California, it's not 9, it is noon, right?
Well, it expires noontime California time for them, so they do have time. But there's one other element. There is a change that is coming that is going to make that even easier for you to manage. Actually, let's talk about that right now. Currently, you guys receive an email. The second it comes in, you guys have an email. The steps that you have to take is you have to see the email, you click on a link, you log into the back end of the site, and then you accept or decline. The email that is going to be implemented by Wednesday of next week is going to go out. It's going to be the same notification email. But in the body of that email is going to be a clickable button, a click-through button, for you to accept or decline right there. And when you accept or decline, then an email should be automatically sent out to that customer saying, great, we got your information, we're working on it. For you, that means on a Saturday afternoon, if you happen to pick up your phone and tap into your email and you see what is a good lead for your inventory, for your location, for your timing, you can accept it right there. That customer receives notification immediately. You haven't, it's now yours. It's not going to leave your world and go to somebody else's. No login required. You don't have to be at your computer. It's any internet device, your tablet, your smartphone, your laptop at home, whatever it is, your Google Doc, your Google Mail. Click it right there and it's going to accept. For those who are distinctive users, that means it will automatically go into your distinctive system. So you don't even have to come back to the Trailways system and export that information out and move it over into distinctive.
Does it show up as a web pending then?
How did Eric have that set up? We built the API. We're not sure how they're carrying it over. We just know that we built the bridge to carry that over. But Eric's here, right?
Yeah, he's going to be here this afternoon.
Okay,
But
so
I want to
he's
make
gotta
one
talk.
key point on that, y'all. Once it goes into your distinctive, it doesn't come back to anybody at Trailways. So you want to really watch those.
Yeah, you gotta check your
because-
availability and.
Right, or, you know, at least respond to them, because then essentially, if you can't do anything with it, it just dies with you. In this format, it goes on, so that's just a
Yeah.
key little piece that we would want you to
Absolutely.
really pay attention
And
to
ultimately,
those.
if you realize, hey, it was, you know, Saturday afternoon and you thought, and then you got in, you know, hey, I could take this. On the main Trailways system, on your back end, Eva, I mean, ultimately, if it's, wow, I picked this up and it's good, it's Monday morning, I can't do it. There's a way to talk, you know, to call the main office. Hey, I took this one, but I can't do it. I didn't realize I couldn't do it. We, you know, let somebody know. The team down there will be able to pick it back up and get it to the right people, because we just don't want to lose the lead.
And I'm assuming when you accept, the customer will receive an email saying they accepted and some verbiage.
Exactly.
If you decline, what does the customer see?
The customer doesn't see anything. When you decline, it automatically kicks to that next company.
Okay.
And that next contact person will receive their email with the accept decline button in their email to act on it. If they don't act within 24 hours, then it defaults back to downstairs, right? Yeah, to headquarters, and then they will figure out how to, you know, service the lead. But yeah, the second you hit decline, then a new 24-hour cycle begins. Unless it's a weekend, then you still have the noon on Monday deadline, because that's, you know, regardless of when that kicks over. But if it comes in on a Monday morning, 24 hours, yeah. So come Monday at 8 a.m., I think, is when the regular 24-hour cycle picks back up again.
So the customer never gets I would say, negative email saying, hey, nobody took your lead or anything like that. They'll only get positive emails saying, hey, somebody picked up your lead and they'll be contacting you. Whether that's the first company or the second company or whatever Trailways does with it.
Okay. So on the Trailways website, all of your companies are listed, and you have control over the content on all of these pages via your own. The same place that you log in on the back end to look at leads is also where you control all of the information within the Trailways.com website for what you want. So I'll click on VIA. I click on VIA because we built VIA's website as well, and we work with Curtis and the team there on all of their efforts. So this page right here, on the back end, VIA has the opportunity to go in. They have the opportunity to change the background images up here. We have a very specific set of images to use. We wanted to make sure that we had the right look and feel on every page. So there's mountains, there's deserts, there's beaches, you can choose whatever image that you want, and you can change it as often as you want. You have the opportunity to put your own image up here, your own body content here, change the address, add cities, change the link where the website goes. This request a quote goes
I think that goes to request quote on this
on the
site.
Trailways site, but if people click here, then they default out and they go to the main website, which would bounce out to this page right here. This is the Via Trailways page. This is your page, and if somebody fills in a lead form here or on any of your sites that has a lead form, that is completely outside of the Trailways.com system. You manage that however you manage it. Obviously, the front end and the back end of VIA is a little bit more in line with Trailways.com. It's the way we're able to get the higher rankings that Mark's able to work with, because we specifically built this one to his SEO requirements as well as the Trailways.com for the way we were going to market to it. So it becomes a very, strong tool for that reason.
Ed,
yeah.
I'm sorry, but could you explain that a little bit more? Because I think, the mechanics of a website, and, there's a lot of young people here, but for people like me, the back end, how does that back end bring better search?
Okay. So there's a couple different things, and this is what I did. I mean, the report that you have there, will identify a couple things that could be tweaked. But, and all of it, I don't want to say should be taken with a grain of salt, but it should be taken with some consideration to the way your individual sites are being marketed. The way we knew that we were going to be marketing Trailways.com and via Trailways.com. We knew that we were going to be very heavy on pay-per-click, very heavy on lead generation based on specific keywords in very specific regions. Trailways.com, we knew that all of the major markets that we needed to be in, and not necessarily the in-betweens, although those in-betweens need to get some play there as well. But that was a national campaign. Via Trailways becomes a local campaign. So elements on the front end side of having a very quick conversion, very, very important that on the home page we have the least amount of opportunity for somebody to bounce. A bounce is when they come to a specific page, they spend a short amount of time on there and they leave without clicking on anything. Well, we don't want that. That's a high bounce rate. Elements like contact form right on the page, giving opportunities on the home page as they scroll down to click into deeper pages. All of these reduce bounce rate. All of that works to tell Google, hey, this is a valid website. This is a good website. The people that come here do something, as opposed to maybe another website that they go to and don't do something. So that increases your score. On the back end, it's built within a WordPress environment. We utilize very specific tools within the WordPress environment. Google Sitemap, which is built for Google to sitemap your site, and it's the way Google wants it. Yoast for SEO, which is an SEO tool that is the way Google wants it. We're laying it all out per their rules. On top of that, we have Mark Kennedy's team that comes in and builds a bunch of pages that you don't necessarily see. They're landing pages. We should have been logged in on the back end, but Mark's crew goes in and creates landing pages. So if somebody's searching Fresno, if somebody's searching, specific areas or specific services, we built a page that Google says, oh, that's a really good page for them to go to. They generally spend a very small amount of time on a page like that. Bounce rates are a little bit higher because we want them to click very quickly to request a quote on that page and move them on. So between the front end, some aesthetics, the way the page is blocked out, and the back end, the way the site is built, and following all the rules that Google brings to the table, and keeping it as clean as it can be, and keeping it updated, which we do every 6 months. We update all of the core files on it. That gives the website the best opportunity to be found by Google. Now, layer on top of that the fact that we do it for Trailways. And we have backlinks going from via Trailways to Trailways and from Trailways to via Trailways. And the Trailways gets, what do we get? 7,000 visits a day?
Close to it.
7 or 8,000 visits a day. A huge amount of traffic going there. That helps all of you. I mean, because on the Trailways site, there's backlinks to all of your sites baked in. All of your sites are listed on the main website. That helps. That helps every program that you're running. SEO, pay-per-click, doesn't matter if you have a social media campaign, an HTML email campaign. The stronger digital footprint coming from Trailways.com and from all of your partner companies helps. Rising tides lift all ships. So that's what goes into building these sites. And it works real well. And again, in these reports, there's some little things that, I didn't. The biggest element on just about everybody's website is no Google Sitemap, which is XML file. I mean, it's a really simple thing for web developers to forget to do. It's also a really simple thing to go in and do. It's a little text file. You use their code, you put it in there, it maps your site, it submits it to Google. So Google knows what you got on your site. And that's probably one of the most common throughout all of these sites.
Two of the things that Google will dock you on.
Oh, yeah,
In the
yeah.
past, probably in the past year and a half to 2 years, Google's come out and they will dock your search ratings if you are not responsive and you do not have an SSL. Responsive means you can see it on any device and it looks fine. So Google will automatically dock you if you do not have those two things. And there are still plenty of sites out there that do.
So that is responsiveness talked about in there, and we understand that as the site shrinks down to a tablet or a smartphone, it rearranges itself. So everything remains in a view. That's a responsive site. They give preferential treatment to a lesser site that is responsive over your site if it's not responsive. The other element is up here. You can see the padlock that runs there. That means that we're running on a secure server that is running a secure socket layer, an SSL. All of our servers have a shared SSL that blankets every website that we deal with. That's a new element here in the last 12 to 18 months because Google came out and said, look, all sites have to be secure. And so host companies work to figure out how to do that. Because normally an SSL runs you anywhere from $400 to $1,200 a year for a third-party SSL, and that's the way it always used to be. We used Trustwave was our company, and paid them $15,000, $20,000 a year based on our clients, because we needed to run secure sites for them. Thankfully, that is no longer the case. You're running on our server, it's just baked in, and that just makes life really easy because you no longer get faulted for it. So that's another element within those reports that may say, you're not running an SSL. It's a simple, just like the Google sitemap is simple. Just little things that help kick you up by a notch or two.
And Google will call you out if you do not have a SSL. So up here, this is secure, but if it wasn't secure, there would be a big bar right here that says not secure. In like red letters. So
it started out, it was simple, it was just an unlock padlock, and then it went to not secure in gray, and then they kicked it up to not secure in red, and I think the next step is that it's going to be a red bar dropped out in white, only because they're trying to shame and scare everybody into, hey, encrypt all traffic on your website. It's just the right thing to do. And in about 2 years, we're going to get what's called GDPR here. If you're familiar with GDPR in Europe, it's the General Personal Record Compliance. Sites that we build starting about 4 months ago are all GDPR compliant. And all of the sites that we currently host, we're one by one making them compliant. A whole nother conversation. But it will be coming to the U.S. in a couple of years. Here.
So Ed, if I'm understanding both of y'all correctly, that means that site cannot be hacked?
No.
What does that mean?
What that means is that when somebody comes onto this website, where they're coming from and who they are, if there's any information that carries with them, is not being picked up by the website.
So the cookies and the IP address.
Yeah. So, and when we get into GDPR, the big compliancy element there is simply making people aware that you are inserting cookies onto their site, and they have the choice to say no. That's probably the biggest element, because all of the information becomes encrypted. This used to only be important with credit card numbers. Okay, I'm going to send you my credit card number over the web. It needs to be encrypted. Then it became, okay, my email address and my personal information needed to be encrypted because I was going to send this to you. It's really taken such a much larger step of, I shouldn't have to expose who I am or where I'm at if I come onto your website. You should be protecting my information. And I shouldn't have to give up all of my personal just to come and look at your webpage. And that's what that encryption is really all about. Okay. And then GDPR takes this really next big step of says that all of these lead forms that we get, This is going to be a challenge for everybody. You, as a company, have to prove that you are being smart about that information, that it is sitting on your internal server, encrypted in a safe way, that it's not in some Excel file on a laptop that 14 people have access to. You know, that is, it's horrible. I mean, I think we're going overboard, but it's what Europe came up with. What we're able to bring to the table is making sure that we're collecting it the right way. Every business in the United States has a responsibility to now be doing the right thing with this information. All of our companies sitting here right now individually, no one's coming after us. The first time Apple, Microsoft, Best Buy, Target, the first time that there's a real issue here in the United States is going to be a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit, and everybody's going to say, okay, you know, the world's changing. By that time, blockchain will be in place.
And with GDPR, the user has the option to request from you guys all their information that they've shared. So you have to, at any point in time, you have to be able to go and grab all of the forms or comments or anything that they've sent your way, and you have to be able to collect that and send it to them directly. And so lots of GDPR stuff incorporates that, of being able to have all that data and ready to export to give to whoever asks for it too.
And that's currently the law in Europe. The way we make sites in the United States GDPR compliant, in the simplest way, is we simply go in and we block every IP address from coming onto any site that we manage that is outside of the continental United States or the islands, Guam, Puerto Rico. All of those have to be included. But we go through and we've got a formula for blocking them, which means if somebody's in Germany and wants to come to Disneyland and they want to find, you're going to be blocked if that's what you've asked us to do. There are steps that go up from there. Yeah, that's the easiest way. Let's just block the world. If you're not in the U.S., you can't get to my website. Therefore, you can't give me any information that will get me in trouble. That's the easiest. The next step's up from there, because we do have international clients, just as you guys, you know, you want that crew from Germany, from England, you know, coming in, and how do I charter a bus from the airport? We have to start taking steps that make sure that we're doing things. There's privacy statements, privacy policies that have to be built in. You have to go through child safe. These are all easy things to do. You just have to know to do them. You have to prove that your website is safe for children to come on. That's in those reports also.
Tell them that you're collecting cookies and all this other stuff, that you're saving data.
Yep.
And you give them the option to not opt in or opt in and things like that.
Yep. So all big things. I mean, that's just good things to be thinking about. None of this is catastrophic if you're not doing it. None of it is. It's just, that's the world of websites. I mean, that's just where we're going. When we develop, like on VIA, we're fortunate that, you know, that's what we do. I always say in here, we build websites the right way. We work real hard to make sure that we're trying to build the best possible framework. Front-end design, back-end technology, working with the right professionals to get it marketed the right way and give our clients the best opportunity to fight out there in the real world. I know we got off on a sidetrack there. Sorry about that. I hope that was good.
I probably did that, I'm sorry. I just was curious, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So if we go back over here, this page right here, all the way down, you know, this is, I think, something that you may not realize is as robust as it could be. Even via Trailways, you talked to Curtis. This element right here, this is our boilerplate copy. This is what we wrote and shows up on every company page if somebody hasn't gone in and changed it. This is your paragraph or two. We don't, do we have a character limit on it? I don't think we character limited it, but we're not looking to write a book there. You know, this is where you get to say what you want to say. Phone numbers can be added in here. Addresses can be changed. Go to our dashboard. This is back end. all of it just gets updated on the back end. When you log into your lead form area, it's company profile and it's your specific. You can upload your own logo that shows up there. You write your own content. You have all of these elements that you can toggle on, plus amenities. Maybe you don't have TV, DVR, Wi-Fi, transportation services. You define your fleet. We have gone through and created graphics. These are Trailways graphics, but they are unbranded. They're just to show what type of vehicle and the way we're naming them. Go back up here, we can see mid-size coaches, minibuses, you know, just to give people that understanding. And things get toggled on and off here. This goes out to your specific ticketing page, right? That's what we had worked together on to, like this clicks out to this, which we don't have anything to do with. But on every page, there's an opportunity to say, okay, well, let me buy a ticket as opposed to order a charter if that's what somebody's actually looking for. So on the back end, each one of you have that opportunity to make those changes. There we go, company profile page. All within here. You also have the opportunity in settings, thank you, to add as many people as you want to add in. I'm sorry, users.